Hey everybody, Matt Bailey here for the Music Universe at the Library of Congress Gershwin Prize for Popular Song. Tonight's honoree is the legendary Joni Mitchell. Well, buddy, how are you?
I'm pretty good. How about you?
I'm good. We got a big one today. I love living in DC because there's politics, which I'm a bit of a political buff, but what I
Yeah.
really enjoy are when artists come here and get national recognition. And there's a few major awards that we give to artists and creators and people who've had incredible impact on pop culture. And I got to go to one of those events.
Yeah, you attended Joni Mitchell's Library of Congress Gershwin Prize Award and for popular song. And I mean, it was an all-star tribute concert. It airs tonight, March 31st on PBS at 9 p.m. Eastern. You'll have to check your local listings and also on the PBS app. And it's part of their co-produced Emmy Award-winning music series. Also, if you're watching or listening to us from anywhere around the world, the U.S. Department of Defense locations will also be showing it on the Armed Forces Network. So that's really cool, but I don't want to spoil it. I mean, you talk to a bunch of people, you tell everyone who you've spoken with.
I was nose to nose with a bunch of really, really cool people because the red carpet wasn't like some of the red carpets you've seen us do, where they're basically red carpeted tents. This was just a little strip of hallway in the very narrow Daughters of American Revolution Constitution Hall, or what they call Dar Constitution Hall. And I was nose to nose with Brandi Carlile, Annie Lennox, James Taylor, and so many more people that you're going to see us talk to here. We're just going to roll them back to back. But before we get to that, just to show you how special of a night it was, Joni Mitchell is an artist. Okay. She's an artist as well as a songwriter. So, and the night, and you'll see this on the TV show if you watch it tonight, the night focused not only on her music, but the set was all of her paintings, beautiful blow-ups of her paintings. And each painting was spotlighted during one of the artists that came out to do a tribute to her music, corresponded to a painting. And so they put a print of her painting on the commemorative ticket that they gave us. And so this is one of my most treasured possessions right here. And I pulled that out just to show everybody. I think it was absolutely beautiful. It was a beautiful night. And the reason we're not going to do, come back and talk to you in between each of these interviews is because they all basically are about the same thing. What does Joni Mitchell mean to them? What do they mean to Joni Mitchell? Brandi Carlile gave an impactful speech to me and a few other media folks around our little gaggle of microphones about the first time Joni had sang since her brain aneurysm. Brandi was there. And then James Taylor shared some stories. I was nose to nose with James Taylor and trying not to cry. So
you shook his hand a couple times.
Shook his hand a couple of times. It's fantastic. It's one thing to do an interview with an artist, but it's another to look into their eyes and see what somebody else means to them when they're there to celebrate somebody else and the genuine nature of that experience. And we start with the Eurythmics' Annie Lennox, who's recently inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame herself. And I want to start with that because her and I actually put up that picture that James took of me. Take a look at that jacket. And then when Annie comes up, you'll see her immediately point out and kind of rib me in the elbow with her elbow of that we matched, because she also had a black sequin jacket on. So we're going to kick things off with Annie Lennox. We're going to end things with Brandi Carlile.
Is Lennox. Hey, we match. Look at this. Look at this. So this is awesome that you're here. What are you most excited about tonight?
Well, there's a lot to be excited about. I have a performance of a song to do. So once I've done that, I can relax. And I'm very excited about performing that song. And I've had a chance to sit with Joni and I hope to have a little chance to be with her perhaps later on. It doesn't really matter, but it's just been very moving. You know, I've always adored Joni Mitchell all my life, all my adult life. She's been my inspiration, and I've been waiting for her to be given her real high recognition, which is it started to happen. And Brandy Carlisle, who you've probably just spoken to, is a champion, and she has championed Joni, and I love her too. So,
What is your earliest memory of hearing Joni's music?
I'm living in a basement flat in Notting Hill Gate. As a quite impoverished student, and my friend who I shared the flat with, that's apartment in the, but it was very sketchy. He brought one of Joni's early Court and Spark. He brought that, and he had some headphones. I couldn't afford headphones, or I couldn't afford albums. I was kind of poor, and the discovery of the lyricism of this poetry of our music and the beauty, the power of it was a revelation. Was an absolute revelation to me, and that's like a step into a path. As a singer, you need to be your own artist. You need to have your own sound. If I had to try to copy Joni, that would have been a mistake. I had to find me. But she was one step into like, oh, maybe I can go down here. And there have been many singers that have inspired me. But Joni, as a singer-songwriter, as an artist, there's nobody to compare.
She's the goddess of music, and her voice is in our hearts and our minds and our spirits. And for those young people that did not know who she was, possibly, and that's okay, the Gershwin Prize has illuminated her, not only her voice, which is timeless, but her spirit in her lyric. And Julie Opperman, who is really an empowering force behind the Gershwin Prize, can attest to that.
Angelique, so thank you very much. What are you most looking forward to this evening?
I'm looking forward to thank Joni Mitchell for her creativity. Her catalog is big, and for her trailblazing leadership, opening the doors for all women, not only in America, beyond America. As a young girl, the Big Yellow Taxi was one of my favorite. It makes me dream of being in New York City, going to a concert of Joni Mitchell, or sitting in a taxi with Joni Mitchell singing Big Yellow Taxi. So that's what I'm gonna do tonight, to tell her how much I love her, to tell her how much she has allowed me to dream about a possible career in music.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you.
We have legendary singer-songwriter Joni Mitchell here to receive her flowers right now, because she is the 2023 Gershwin Prize winner of Popular Song, and we have stars here to pay tribute to her. Brandy Carlisle, James Taylor, Lettucey, so many. It's just amazing. But they all are here because of the influence she's had on their music and their lives. Herbie Hancock is here, so it's just such a wonderful time.
Can you tell us a little bit about selecting Joni Mitchell for this?
Past Gershwin Prize winners, Paul Simon, Lionel Richie, Carole King, all give suggestions, and then we have experts in music and all types of recording industry. They tell, and then I get to make the final selection. Of course, it's not hard when it's someone like Joni Mitchell, so it's wonderful. It's really wonderful, and it's exciting. Oh, for me, her music has been something that has touched me at different times in my life. And so I've been able to sing along, think. Her lyrics are just wonderful. And so to be able to be with her, and I think it's breaking news, she's going to sing tonight.
What goes into when you decide to do the Gershwin Prize? Because I know it's not given out every year.
It is given out
Really? I thought there were some years where it was every 2 years.
because of things like the pandemic. Okay, there were some years, but we try to do it every year. And a lot of the things that have to happen when you do a Gershwin Award is the people who want to pay tribute to the artists are touring or they have their own careers, and so that goes into it too. So that helps you pick the time. So we are so excited to see her, and she's going to sing. I think I can tell you.
Biden will run again, and I will vote for him if he does.
Does Washington inspire any songwriting?
I once wrote a song called "Grave Concern" about what was going on the Hill many years ago, maybe 30 years ago.
Will there be an updated version?
I did update it. I did. I did a live record of Songs for Beginners and Wild Tales recently. And there's a section in Grave Concern where the president is talking. And he was saying, I can fix it all, I can, so I just rearranged that part to have Trump talking.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Mr. Nash, can you tell us a little bit about what you'll be doing this evening as part of the tribute to Joni Mitchell?
I'm going to sing one of Joni's most simple songs. It's called A Case of You.
What made you choose that song?
I love it.
Wonderful.
I loved it from the moment that I first heard it. And it certainly wasn't written about me, but I love the song. It's a tremendous, very profound song in its simplicity, yes.
Wonderful. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Mr. Taylor, my name is Matt Bailey, and it's an honor to meet you. I want to know, you have such a history with Ms. Mitchell that I'm wondering if you recall the first time you ever heard a Joni Mitchell song.
Yes, I do. It was played for me in London in 1968. It was played in the Apple offices, Apple Records, the Beatles label, by a man named Derek Taylor, who was the head of the Beatles recording label at that point. And Derek had a copy of Joni's album in the offices, and was playing it for the Beatles, and I heard it there first. So.
What are you most excited to witness tonight?
Oh, gee, I think we can, I don't know how much of this stuff is supposed to be a surprise, but Joni's going to sing a song tonight. I heard it in rehearsal. It's just beautiful, so I want to hear that. But so many people are going to contribute. It's going to be great to hear. I want to hear Diana Krall sing For the Roses. I want to hear Brandi Carlile. I want to hear everyone who's going to be here tonight. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor.
Thank you, sir.
Ms. Carlisle, you are having quite the moment yourself.
Your jacket is having quite the moment.
Okay, well,
and I am here for it.
I love it. What are you, we've been hearing you talk about Joni, but what are you most excited about for your own career in 2023? So much is happening.
In my own career?
Yes.
It's going to sound, I hope it doesn't sound negative, but I'm getting ready to take a break, like a really long break. And I'm looking forward to turning inward to my source, which is my family, and reevaluating what my next step should look like artistically and musically, and as a person lucky enough to have a platform.
Can you talk about your experience jamming with Joni at her home and sort of like learning musically from her and building your songwriting repertoire with her?
Because you're kind of responsible for her return to the stage, right?
I wouldn't say, I would say I've had a passenger seat view of her return to the stage, which is the great honor of my life. But being with her at the jams, I was there the very first time she opened her mouth and sang again. The very first word that ever came out of her mouth to sing again, I saw it happen. And I've been watching this recovery in just total disbelief. And part of me wishes we were documenting it, but the other part of me knows that it just kind of lives in our hearts and souls in a way that very few things do these days anymore. And I've seen it change from being an inspiring recovery from a horrific cognitive event to being musically pretty damn impressive. And Joni, in my opinion, sounds better, and James Taylor said this to me last night too, and I think sounds better than she has in more like 20, 25 years. Just because the all of that perseverance. It's in the voice, you can hear it. And she hadn't been smoking, so she's got this vibrato back. And there's this tonality that's very preacher-esque in her voice. And I never fancied Joni Mitchell a gospel singer, but I'm feeling that way now.
And can you talk about that moment when you heard her sing for the first time in such a long time, and what that meant for you as an artist and your sort of progress as a lyric? I love it.
Yeah, Russ Kunkel said to me one time, he said, Joni Mitchell always has a plan. And really, the jams were her plan. It was all sort of puppeteered by Joni, you know? What's that word? Marionettes. We're marionettes, you know, in Joni's living room. And we're all in there, and Herbie Hancock's at the piano, and Shaka Khan's drinking her wine, and Hosier was there, and we were all hanging around, and Herbie's hands are just drifting over the piano keys. And nobody really knew what he was doing or what chord he was playing, but it sounded like Gershwin. And that's when Joni just looked up at everybody and went, "Summertime and the living is easy." And Herbie started crying, and everyone cried, and I was looking around like, what happened? It's amazing that she sang, but why is everybody upset? And they're like, that's the first time. And it's been a roller coaster since then, watching her recovery. Now we're trying to keep up.
Can you talk about the song you're going to perform this evening?
This evening I'm going to perform Shine, which is my favorite Joni Mitchell song. It's from the album in 2007, Shine, and it's pure prophecy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, you were in heaven there covering that event.
You know, and I left because I wanted to go get sat, but I missed Cyndi Lauper. I missed seeing Joni. She didn't stop for any of the media, but she did walk the carpet and stop for photos. And then she continued on. But I wanted to end with Brandy, because that story of being there and everybody else who was there, all the other stars that were there, that she just sang a couple of notes and everybody teared up, and you heard her say there, Brandy was like, what, why are you all freaking out? And they said, well, that's the first time. Yeah. And so she's been instrumental in getting Joni back to performing regularly, I should say, or semi-regularly, and even though it's still rare, and it was a rare treat that she not only did one, but she did 2 songs with us on that night. And when I say the breath, the air was sucked out of the room, I mean that in the most beautiful way, because everybody was just holding their breath, watching Joni Mitchell sing, which is so rare these days.
Yeah, that's amazing. And everybody can see that tonight again at PBS at 9 Eastern. And if you're watching this on the night it airs, March 31st, otherwise I believe it'll be on demand, and of course PBS app. But speaking of Joni performing, I mean, she's actually announced her first headlining performance in 2 decades. She's going to host Joni Jam 2 at Echoes Through the Canyon on June 10th. And that's at the George Amphitheater in George, Washington. And it's either the Gorge or the George. I'm not quite sure how you pronounce that venue. I believe it's the Gorge because there's no E. So Carlisle's actually going to headline the first night, and then Joni will do the second night.
And I'm sure Brandy will be there. She's kind of responsible. I mean, she sort of eschews taking credit, but she's kind of the one sort of pushing Joni. And I have a suspicion, just because of the different monologues she delivered throughout the evening. It was a 3-hour taping. It was fantastic. Wow. I just have a suspicion that because of the way it was taped, it's going to look like she's a bit of the MC for the evening, for the actual performance, for the Gershwin Prize, with all of those performers up there. I'm pretty sure that's how it's going to look. So she has been instrumental in bringing Joni back to the stage. And like you said, the first announced headlining Joni Jam. They did one last year, but it was, I think, very quick, or I'm not sure if it was last year or the year before, but it was quickly put together. And this is going to be a really big event. So Joni, welcome back. Gershwin Prize, very well deserved. And, you know, on the red carpet, we ask, who are you wearing? So, Buddy, just to shift gears, I want to shift gears and switch and ask, who are you wearing? Because this episode kind of has a sponsor, doesn't it?
This shirt does. It's Blake Shelton by Land's End. It's part of his spring collection. And now it may look a little green on camera, but it's actually more blue and teal. And I love it. It's nice and warm. California is getting its 16th, that's right, 16th storm of 2023. That's 16th storm. Right now, it's going to be 60 degrees for the high. This is going to keep me warm because I get cold easily. So I can't thank them enough for this shirt. This is wonderful. I did post an unboxing on our social media, so you guys can check that out as well as a reel, I believe. Yeah, it's really cool, and you guys can check out the article at themusicuniverse.com because I covered it, and they were kind to send me a shirt. So thank you guys for that. And Blake, hopefully I'll see you on the road sometime soon.
Yeah, he had some dates supporting the new album, but they didn't come anywhere near me or you. I think it was pretty much middle of the country. So
and he's set to wrap his final season on The Voice this spring. So I think he's wanting to take a little break. I mean, he's focused on his
it's Blake's final season, if you didn't know. I mean, they've been making a big enough deal out of it.
Yeah. And he's focused on his Old Red series of venues, with a new one opening later this year in Vegas, which I'm sure we'll be at some point. And the dude's a busy man. I mean, he's very busy. So pretty cool. Pretty cool. But yeah, I look forward to hopefully seeing him. He only does a handful of dates every year, so maybe he'll pick it up with not doing 2 cycles of The Voice. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, for the Music Universe podcast, I'm Matt.
And I'm Buddy. Thanks for listening and watching. Be sure to check us out at themusicuniverse.com for the latest news and concert reviews and more. And be sure to follow us on social media at The Music Uni, and subscribe at tmupod.com. Take care.